Good evening, and welcome to Debate Election, Ontario 2011.
Good evening.
My name is Dr. Morton Numnuts, and I will be your moderator for tonight's debate. On my left is candidate Richard Wiener, and on my right is candidate Dominic Kryzchyky. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hi.
Good evening. I'm very proud to be here tonight.
Yes.
I'm very proud as well. Very, very proud.
I'm sure we're all proud to be here tonight. As you viewers probably know already, the incumbent member of Provincial Parliament for Nippissing County, the Right Honourable Grace Thon Pratt, died earlier this week in a tragic bus accident. Her election tour bus mysteriously went off the road and she disappeared over the Niagara Escarpment. The police are still investigating. It's a tragedy.
Still investigating?
Oh, they'll be investigating until they come up with some answers, I'm sure. It's a tragedy indeed, and I contacted the different candidates, but they assured me that they would like to go ahead with the debate, given the importance of this provincial election. So we're going ahead, we are. The seating arrangement for tonight was decided earlier this week by coin toss. Mr. Wiener chose heads, Mr. Kryzchyky chose tails. It came up heads. Mr. Wiener then chose, as was his right, to defer the choice to Mr. Kryzchyky. Mr. Kryzchyky then was given a choice of either rock, paper, scissors, or eeny, meeny, miny, moe. He chose eeny, meeny, and he lost. That brought us to a tie-breaking formula that consisted of a hot dog eating contest, a bicycle race, and a series of random questions. I will be asking the candidates a series of questions relating to subjects decided by you, the voters of Nippissing County. Each candidate will have a minute to answer and then face rebuttal for another minute. At the end of that minute, I will indicate such by using the phrase, "Shut up." Are you ready, gentlemen?
Yes, I would just like to say, Mr. Moderator, that this is a very proud vote for me to be a part of this process for the people of Ontario.
Yeah.
Our first question will be directed at Mr. Wiener. Mr. Wiener, in Ontario right now, 500,000 people are unemployed.
Yes.
Do we need immigration?
Well, I think we need policies. I mean, immigration has been talked as a problem. It's not a problem, it's an issue. And issues are far more problematic than problems could ever be. So I'm planning on instigating my immigration initiative. And that means to initiate immigrants into turning in other illegal immigrants that are here illegally. I think the initiative should be around $50.
Let's see, Mr. Kryzchyky, rebuttal?
Well, as you know, I myself am an immigrant.
Right.
I come from a country called Wiener, and that it's in Eastern Europe, and it makes it so special to come to a province like Ontario, because we are such a cultural melting pot of people here. We are a melting pot of people.
What does he mean by a melting fort of people? Of people? What the hell?
I see, you now have 1 minute to cross-examine each other on this issue.
Well, I am cross-examining. I don't want to waste any time in this.
I think you're
talking people, throwing them in the
I'm not talking about 20 people. I make people.
What kind of thing do you think that this is?
I mean, maybe it's
This is not Nazi Germany. Shut up.
Mr. Kryzchyky, the next question is for you.
Thank you.
Some say that the OHIP system in Ontario, the Ontario Hospitalization Program, is broken. Can it be fixed, if so?
That's a very good question.
Thank you.
My mother had a problem with her foot the other day. She go to the hospital, and the doctors tell her, "You have a problem with your foot." So, what does she do? She gets her foot fixed. But did it cost anything to her? No. Because we live in a province, this great province of Ontario, that allows people like my mother, who have problems with her feet, of 1 foot, to get it fixed.
Perhaps soon there will be a similar dental program. Statistics say that crime levels now are down to the lowest level since 1976. Do we really need more and tougher laws and more and bigger prisons?
I think yes to all of those questions. You see, I'm from the law and order party, you know, but when I'm elected, I'm going to look at law and order in a whole different perspective, like the other way around. I mean, normally in law and order, we're restricted to keeping order based on the laws. But the way I want to look at it, I think that we should take the order that we want to change and then write the laws to stop them. You understand?
You know, the province of Ontario is very strong and built on the laws that we have here. I would not change any of the laws in this province. Some people want to change laws, like change the laws of physics, which is impossible. If you change the law of physics, then everything would be upside down. There would be no law of gravity either. What if you change the law of gravity? I think no laws should be changed. I think because then otherwise people will be floating up in the air upside down.
Mr. Kryzchyky, let's go to the subject of education.
Yes.
Education levels are in Ontario are respected worldwide. It's taken as a given that the province of Ontario has excellent educational standards, and yet students, when they graduate, can't find jobs in the professions that they've chosen. What would you or your party do to correct this situation?
Very simple. I have a friend of mine who is a taxi cab driver, and back in his country, where he comes from, he is a doctor. Why can he not find work as a doctor? My solution is not to make him a doctor. No, no, no. My solution is to have courses in universities for taxi drivers, so they can learn to be taxi drivers.
Rebuttal, Mr. Wiener.
Well, I think it's ridiculous. We all know that schools and the future of our children is important to all of us. I mean, without education, I mean, how can industries come up with excuses not to hire people? I mean, education plays an important role in creating hierarchy, and I don't know where I would be without that. I mean, it creates competition and backstabbing. I mean, these are all essential tools in finding and keeping a job in these tough financial times. So I think that we're going about education all wrong. I think we should totally eliminate schools. We shouldn't have any teachers. We should close them down and just get right to the exams. Just ask them questions. That way we weed out the idiots and we find the people that can take those new factory jobs that we are creating in the old areas where schools were built. You know?
You know, Mr. Wiener, you say you want to eliminate the schools.
Yeah,
but you want to eliminate the schools, you have to hire someone to eliminate them.
And they're reading.
Who are going to hire to eliminate the schools?
People with ideas.
They don't have a job.
We're down to our last two segments of the debate. The final segment will be a pre-recorded statement by myself, followed by an answer from the candidates. But first of all, I would like to give each candidate an opportunity to state why they would make the best member of provincial parliament from Nipissing County. Mr. Kryzchyky.
Thank you. I'm very honored to be here at tonight's debate and part of this wonderful process that we are going through today. You know, one of the things that I learned from being here in Ontario is that this is a province full of hope and love. Back where I come from, where I was born in the Provincia, in Eastern Europe, there is very little hope. People were starving, people have trouble finding work, people are sick all the time. But here in this wonderful province of Ontario, there is hope. Hope to make a better world for our children. Hope to make a better road for our bridges. Hope to make a better plane to fly over the road.
Right. I just want to say that I am absolutely enraged and insanely against raising taxes. In fact, every time I hear the words raising taxes, I vomit a little bit in my mouth. Yeah, I can taste communism. Corn-infused communism. All right? Now, I am a businessman, and my people work hard for my money. And I don't think a single one of them would be happy to see their blood, sweat, and tears being taken away from me by raising taxes. Now, I know what people say, raising taxes, I mean, it pays for the bridges, the hospitals, the schools, all right? But I have yet to see a shred of evidence that shows me that my taxes went and paid for any of those things. I haven't seen one single receipt, and I've asked them. So I'm not buying it. So I want the people of this province and this county to know that I will be taking care of their money.
We now go to a televised segment that I recorded earlier with a bit of a surprise for our candidates.
What would that be?
It's been suggested that because of the relative inexperience of the candidates in Nippissing riding, that perhaps none of them actually have the leadership qualities that are necessary. So we've decided to put them on the spot. We are going to test them under a stressful situation and see just which of the leaders rises to the occasion.